Hi, welcome back to Dungeon and Dyslexia. Today I'm joined with the special guest, Will MB, for the second time on this channel. Thank you for joining me, Will.
Thank you for having me, Adrian. It's fantastic. I've been following along with your videos and watching. I don't know how you read so many things in a week. I am amazed.
It's a little trick I've got called doing one book at a time. So I basically have to, I'm very good at retaining short-term information. So what I do is I tend to read a book, and then just keep rereading that book over and over again, do the video, then move on to the next one.
Fascinating. Okay, it's working.
Yeah.
Your method is, I mean, it's almost like you should write it up and make a book about it because it's working for you.
Where it goes wrong slightly for me is when, so at the moment I'm running two different games. So I'm running a game on a Sunday, so I'm doing Horde Wars on a Tuesday and Modiphius's 2D20 Actum Cthulhu on the Sunday night. And where it goes wrong is because I need to reread those rules in between reading books and playing with books, because when I do a review, I'll also create a character and play with the characters so I can see how combat works. And then, like last Sunday, I had all the review ready, and then I went to run my game session, and I didn't have any of the rules in my brain space for Actum Cthulhu. I was still thinking about the game I was reviewing. It was a bit of a mess.
You were one. It's like when you're dancing and you're one step behind everybody else. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. Never let the lady folk know the fact that men we can't actually multitask.
That's the real key to dancing, right? You don't let people know that you're offbeat. And if they don't figure it out, then all the better. So
yeah, I can't dance. I don't even try. My wife doesn't even try and make me anymore. We didn't even have a first dance at our wedding. So because I'm one of those. I'm really uncomfortable with it. I absolutely hate it. You know, I'm really self-conscious. So. And my lovely wife doesn't make me, so which is nice. So
yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to talk about that today. What we're looking at talking about is, so recently you did a Kickstarter, very successful Kickstarter for this, which was ShadowFinder.
Right. And yeah, I just sent off. I just ordered the proof copy of that from ShadowFinder RPG, and it should be. The turnaround from print and delivery is usually 3 to 4 business weeks. So hopefully in about roughly 28 days, I should have what, knock on wood, is the final print on demand for the bestiary. And I'll send out that reward to backers, and that'll be totally wrapped up.
Fantastic, because the PDF copy, it's 521 pages. I've done a couple of videos on this. I'll link it at the end of this video so you can go and watch the review and see what's in here. Is this now the final page count, or have you managed to get even more in? Because I know there's been
I think it ended at 520-ish. I really just had to put the brakes on at some point. A lot of backers were really excited about the ShadowFinder bestiary, and there's so much Pathfinder content that I included, and yet there was even more. Like there was the NPC Codex and the villains book, and I kind of did a highlight reel of maybe 20 or so NPCs from those books just to flesh out the whole humanoid, human, dwarf, elf, goblin, orc kind of, standard NPC things that you might encounter as villains usually. But I just had to stop at some point, because if I had kept going, I could have hit 700 pages if I included everything else. I mean, because Paizo literally has probably another 3 or 4 bestiary size books, which would have been another 1,200 pages to convert, which would have been another, like 300 pages of ShadowFinder content. I might, at this point, do a NPC Codex version of those. I was trying to avoid having any kind of supplementary stuff for ShadowFinder bestiary. I really wanted it to be a one-stop shop, but the Pathfinder 1 content might have defeated me simply because there's so much of it.
So that's
the truth.
Yeah. Are you also worried about because there's got to be a limit where, from a page point of view, that you can't actually physically get a book that's going to bind together. Does Drive-Through RPG give you
right?
an absolute?
And that was one of the reasons that we went with soft cover print on demand for the ShadowFinder Bestiary, is because all the research I did online had said that hardcover print on demand books have a finite limit, usually around 250 pages or to 300 pages, and over that they tend to have binding issues, right?
Yeah.
But also the comments said the soft cover books don't have that same limitation and don't seem to break down like the hardcovers break down at 250. The spines give out. And the soft covers don't do that. And I have, let me see, I think I have a copy. I have a copy of the ShadowFinder Bestiary to my left. So this is the book, right? I know it's backwards because it's on camera.
No, that's not. It's backwards your way, but my way.
Yeah, okay, good.
Shows it probably, yeah.
So you can see that it is a chunky book. I mean, it is probably, it's A5 size, but this is 500-ish pages. So, and I think that print wise, they say you can do up to 800 pages, but I don't think I would want to push my luck. I mean, I'm all for pushing my luck in RPGs. I'm less for pushing my luck with books that I have printed, so.
Yeah. No, don't blame you. And then, so that's caused us to get back together to look at what we're going to be discussing today, you've obviously decided to stay well and truly within Pathfinder first edition.
Yeah. And because there's a couple of reasons for that, but the main one is Pathfinder 1 is done. Right? Pathfinder 2 is still kind of slow rolling, or maybe just quick rolling stuff out. Like, I know they have the Mwangai book, and they did oh my gosh, they did a book on the dwarves, and they've done a lot of just various kind of campaign content books and bestiaries. I think they're up to bestiary 4 or 5 for Pathfinder 2, but Pathfinder 1 is done. I mean, and it's been done for now 5 years, I want to say. And so there's no opening that sarcophagus and exhuming Pathfinder 1 and being like, we're going to publish a whole new set of Pathfinder 1 books from Paizo's end that I know of. I mean, I'm not a Paizo expert, but my impression is that Pathfinder 1 is very much kind of set in stone, and it's not having any new releases officially. And so it made it kind of fertile ground to dig into, because I could really do a one and done, definitive work for the player guide and for the bestiary and any other books that I have coming up, which I don't want to give too many spoilers, but
Oh, I'm sure I can tease some spoilers for the next books out of you. I'm quite good at that. So
yeah, I would say you already got something. So,
So yeah, we are going to be talking about. Do you want me to? Do you want to show your copy of the book, or shall I show my bit first? Because you've got.
Well, let me. I guess so. I know that I had mentioned this, and I want to make sure that we mention it early on. So I'll show the print copy that I've got that they're showing you just before we started. This is going to be coming up on Kickstarter. I think by the time this video comes out, it's going to be on Kickstarter. It's the ShadowFinder Player Guide. It's you'll see the ribbon, right? We're doing an offset print run, so we're doing an actual book print run instead of print on demand. The offset is going to be only on the Kickstarter, and then we're going to release a print on demand through Drive-Through RPG for people, late backers, or people who don't want to back the offset version. It's going to be roughly probably 160-ish, 160 to maybe 180 pages. It's going to have, like I said, it's going to have the ribbon. It's going to have the hardback. It's going to be black and white on the interior, color cover. The art on the cover is by Attila, and he's fantastic. And he's proven to be super my go-to for all things ShadowFinder art. And like I said, the ribbon, it's gonna have like nice crisp ink, nice and black ink. It's really a holding an offset book that you make versus holding a print on demand book that you make. You kind of get that whole epiphany of like, I think I just leveled up a little bit, So, but yeah, but you have the sneak preview PDF, and so we can actually like
I do,
look at it.
and
Right?
I had a brief look through, and I thought, I'm going to stop looking at this because I think it would be a bit more interesting to sort of run through with you
Absolutely.
when we go through it. But so just from availability point of view, if you're doing an offset print run, are you printing in the US or
Yeah, we're printing in the US. We're printing just for reasons.
No.
Right.
Do not mention that word.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we're printing in the US. We have a couple of printers. We have one printer that we definitely have that I got this proof copy from, and that's a guaranteed. And we're kind of looking around to see if we can find a lower quote while retaining price. But we definitely have at least one print vendor, highly reliable, who we can use. And so it's definitely happening in the US, and they are printed out of Chicago. So
yeah, cool. Well, that's nice and central, isn't it? Isn't it? That's kind of in the
it's
middle.
central. It's exactly. Like a lot of the US print manufacturing stuff is kind of in that Midwestern Chicago, Great Lakes area a lot. And I think because there's a lot of industrial stuff that's been there for so many years, it's really a kind of central hub.
Yeah.
And because it's central to the US, right? So
I was going to say, geographically, it makes sense. Why be in New York? Because obviously it's going to be expensive to send something to San Francisco.
Exactly.
Where if you're in the middle of the country,
it's easier. And I mean, the US, unlike Europe, where you drive for an hour, you're in another country, right? In the US, you can drive for an hour and you may still be in the same state.
Yes.
So there's a factor of scale to shipping stuff so far.
Yeah, depending where you live, you can go through 3 or 4 countries and different languages and different.
Exactly.
It's not quite. We don't quite have the currency issue because most countries have the Europe. But when I was younger and I go across Europe, and you could be across 3 or 4 different countries and having to take so much money and different money with it. Yeah.
And now, as far as US, like if I start in Portland where I live and I drive an hour south, I'm still in Oregon. I'm just now hitting like Salem, Oregon. So like that's 60 miles, like 100 kilometers.
You'll be pleased to know we recently went on holiday and we were going. It was 65 miles. It was the first time we were taking the dogs. And I've got big dogs, taking them in the car. It took us 4 hours to do 65 miles.
Wow.
Welcome to England. So I would deeply encourage people never to come here, or if you do come here, don't come here. Do not drive anywhere.
Don't be in a rush.
Yeah, don't hire a car.
That's amazing. Oh wow. Okay, I'll have to file that away for my dreams crushed.
Yeah, no. When you come to England, you can borrow my helicopter, so that's fine. You can just fly around in my corporate helicopter that I clearly own.
Clearly.
Right. In my back cave. So
right. Battering on your belt. Yeah.
Let's have a look at this then. So ShadowFinder. So already seen the art. So the page you've sent me, it's 146 pages. So this obviously is not complete.
Right.
It's not final layout. There may be spelling errors and variety of other stuff.
This is absolutely a work in progress. I just love you and your channel so much that I wanted to give you the sneak preview.
No, thank you very much. I love a good sneak preview. It's the hardest things though, shutting up about it, not being able to say anything,
not spilling it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's but yeah, it's really flattering. So thank you for doing this and sending it on. So let's just get into it. And I think, it's really nice that you've actually hyperlinked it from day one. Is it just probably easier to do that as an ongoing process than completing the project and then coming back and doing it?
It is. So unlike a lot of designers who do their stuff in Microsoft Word, and then they import their stuff from Microsoft Word to like Affinity, a publisher, or InDesign.
Yeah.
I'm a heathen, and I do all my stuff in Word, and then I just print straight from Word. That's my book. My book is in Word, right? And so
Yeah.
design wise, I can generate a table of contents in Word, and it'll match the headers in my text file, and so I don't have to do anything extra, you know. Um, Most of the people I tell that to look at me like I'm a monster because, like, I don't do it. My layout is all in the Word file that I'm using, so it kind of explains why my layout is consistent, but also a little simpler than a lot of people's. You know, like I aim for like a crisp design, partially because this file is coming from my word processor,
Yeah.
not
It all,
not a layout software,
yeah.
you know.
It makes it easy to read as well, though, because it is very simple. But we've got a lot in here. We can just see from the contents initially. So obviously you've got attributes starting off, then the core rules coming in. So is this? Well, I already know it's going to be a bit of a rhetorical question. This seems to be. Well, I don't know for sure actually. I don't think you're going to need a copy of the core ShadowDark rulebook with
You know, this came up
this.
because I had printed out some early versions for my players when we were playtesting, and a really important comment, came from Jen, one of my players, and she said, "Will, um, if I didn't already know ShadowDark, I wouldn't know how to use this book." And I took that to heart, and I was like, and the other thing is, I noticed that all my playtesters were looking at the playtest book that I had printed not as an adjunct, but they were looking at it as a definitive player's guide for ShadowFinder.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I realized that, it really caused a mental switch for me, right? To be like, this isn't an adjunct uh, tome so much as it's an actual book, you know? And it did kind of cause this reframing of the project.
So what's the answer?
Oh yeah, you don't need the Shadow Dark core rule book to use the player guide, or
Yeah.
probably to play ShadowFinder. I mean, the goal is that, kind of like Chubby Funster's Shadow Rim, they will be playable standalone if you're so inclined.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's kind of what I got, which I thought I'd just better just clarify this down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basic rules. You then get into the spell casting. We've got a ton of ancestries, which is over.
A
It's only over
ton
12
of
pages,
ancestries.
but
Those are the majority of the player-facing ancestries from Pathfinder 1.
right. Okay. I don't remember there being that many, but then I don't. I didn't play Pathfinder anyway near as much as I thought I did.
There were so many, and I looked them up, and I think there's a few that I didn't include simply because I was like, I think I hesitated. I'm looking at the page. I think I hesitated to include. Oh no, Merfolk. It's in there, page 20. Like, Merfolk were hard because I was like, you're like, you know, aquatic based, you know.
Yeah. But you got to keep them in, because every now and again you might end up with that sort of aquatic adventure that we all think in our head is going to be really good until you've played one, and then you
Right.
realize that sort of three-dimensional
I
underwater
was
combat
just
just
going to
does not
say
work.
the three-dimensional combat underwater, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, it's a
you're
mess.
revisiting your decision, right?
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. And we've got even included the monkey goblin that I've never heard of, but
I have a player who's playing a monkey goblin,
I
actually,
don't
in a
blame him.
preview course I'm running.
I
So
don't know what they do, but I still want to be one.
they're like goblins with prehensile tails. They are, I think they're from the Mwangi, if I remember right.
Right.
So
Okay. So which book? So obviously, I'll come to questions then. I just want to get off the content. Well, not get on it, just sort of get through the contents first, and then I'll just go with my next question. So we've got obviously a load of backgrounds in here, names, and then we're going to get into the careers, which again, an awful lot of.
awful
And
lot,
and
lots of them, and they range from brand new to subtly different from the ShadowDark core rules.
Okay, cool. So have you? So some of them you've kind of taken, or completely?
Well, I mean, from the core rule book, things like the fighter and the thief are relatively the same, right? Because they're going to be.
Yeah.
But you'll see the priest, the ShadowFinder priest, hews way closer to the Pathfinder priest, right? And the wizard you'll see sticks way closer to the Pathfinder wizard than they do the ShadowDark core wizard.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So even the core classes are different than the ShadowDark ones, and
Cool.
not massively, but enough so you get the Pathfinder flavor.
Yeah, so theme-wise, it's going to feel, but obviously from mechanics, so it will be different, which is good because it's not then replicating something they've seen and played before. Then got arms, armor, equipment, gear, mounts,
Firearms. We have a gunslinger, so we have firearms.
Yeah, missed that. Just skipped over it. Well done for making me do my job better. And then the rest of the book seems to be spells.
Not just spells. Take a look past that, right? There's feats.
Yeah.
We included rules for learning feats and downtime. So we're treating feats like downtime activities. So instead of carousing for XP, you can make a shot at gaining a feat.
Yeah.
So they're optional in a way that they weren't in Pathfinder. Pathfinder really had that whole optimal build feat tree, right? And we took a different approach, which is we want the feats to be kind of that whole push your luck. Do I learn this? Do I not? Do I lose out on gaining XP in order to learn a feat? So you can exchange variable character growth for specific character growth that you choose, with the trade-off that you will advance slower than your carousing peers, right?
Ooh, so basically, you don't go carousing. You don't go boozing.
It's downtime. So instead of going carousing, you use your downtime. Mm-hmm.
You nerd out with a book to try and improve yourself, as opposed to wasting all your money drinking and wenching.
And we included directions for learning things like that as well. So with a suggested cost and a whole. Some of them are rarer than others, but we do have feats in there. And these feats, again, a lot of them are cribbed from Pathfinder 1, the SRD content. So
cool. So what book did you take these from? Because obviously there's a variety of player manuals in Pathfinder First Edition.
Oh my gosh. I took them, the majority of the spells, the majority of the content comes from the 6 or so major player guides. So there's Pathfinder Core Rules, which has the base classes, the Ultimate Equipment Guide, the Unchained book, the Advanced Player's Guide. I think we dabbled a little bit with the Pathfinder Occult book, but it was a lot harder. Like, we don't have an Oracle, we don't have a Mystic, we don't have a Theurge, we don't have a Thaumaturge. We couldn't find a way to really fit those in a way that was smooth and didn't just basically replicate another character option.
Yeah.
We do have the Kineticist. There is a Kineticist class, so we did get something from there. We don't have a Summoner. And that was something that came up, is I don't think animal companions and familiars and perpetual summons work well in ShadowDark. Because the game is really built around the PCs being the main actors. And so unlike Pathfinder 1, where you could have a cadre of, a dozen different actors on the board when everything was said and done between the companions and the familiars, we just had to kind of make the choice to cut out pretty much all the summons and build that more into the core class. Yeah. So the Ranger doesn't have a summon. The Druid doesn't have an animal companion. The Slayer is much more assassin-y range weapon than like familiar / animal companion.
Yeah. I wonder if one day we'll see, and someone's bound to do this, or building a website with all of the classes available and all the ancestries for ShadowDark across every single zine and official and unofficial magazine. I reckon there's got to be thousands out, or will be.
Oh yeah,
Especially because the amount that you bring out, it's like your monster manual. Here's another 6,000 monsters or whatever within
exactly.
your bestiary. So
Your 1,700 monsters.
yeah,
Well, I know there is an effort to make a crawler compendium. I've seen it on Arcane Libraries Discord. But I don't know. I don't think that's a list of. I think it's a list of publications, less a list of contents of publications, right? So it's a higher. It's kind of rolled up to a higher level of like, here's the book and here's what it has, as opposed to details of the contents.
Yeah, I think by the time it comes out, it'll be out of date anyway. It's
oh my gosh, right? It's like the dictionary in 2025.
Yeah.
If they printed out a dictionary, by the time it gets print, it's out of date.
At least it's slightly quicker than years ago. But so making an adventure, obviously, most of this should look very familiar.
It should look very familiar. It's yeah. It's a little more succinct, right? And
yeah, so it's only really the talents that that's because that's the class and things, isn't it? So
that's Feats, class. Yeah, talents are derived from the class, right? And you'll see those on the
yeah.
I
confused myself.
There's one call out, which is unlike the ShadowDark core book, I included kind of an example of a different level of each attribute, right? Because I think that it helps to have that kind of framework. And that's something I learned from the Marvel superheroes game back from like 1985 or whatever, is like it helps to have a framework for what is this level of capability, you know?
Yeah.
And so I tried to phrase it in human, like a human analog. But I did my best to explain like who functions at what level, so you can kind of have an idea of your capabilities as a PC.
Yeah. So this is the table down here from infant all the way to me. I mean, sorry, Olympian.
That's
imagine
right.
If I went to the Olympics, it'd be for probably sitting down. I think that would what I'd aim for. But yeah, so get basic rules in here. So, and then we've got a fate die. So,
the fate die. Yeah, the fate die is something. I have a fate die. I have a dice that pretty much has those words printed on it, and it's become our go-to for determining details. And basically, like the fate die is, you know, so there's the classic like roll 1d6, 1 to 3 is a negative outcome, 4 to 6 is a positive outcome.
Yeah,
right. And the fate die, I just kind of said, if you want to, you can expand that out. So 6 is really good. 5 is good. 4 is kind of good. 3 is kind of bad. 2 is bad. 1 is really bad.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a little more nuanced, and that's totally optional, but it does give the GM a little more nuance to play around with, you know? So.
Oh, what have I done? I've jumped back.
Oh, gone back to the beginning.
How did that happen?
Go back to the beginning, Vincini.
Yeah. So spell casting's obviously exactly the same. So there's no changes.
Right. Much the same, except for you will see I mentioned divine, holy, and arcane wizard spells, right?
Yeah.
They're specifically called out.
Okay.
I also included rules for paying for spells, which is very much a Pathfinder 1 idea, right? You don't have detect magic, you pay a wizard to cast detect magic for you, that kind of thing.
Right, is that to buy the spell specifically?
No, that's literally to have them cast it for you.
Oh, so for like healing or
right. So you go to the temple. Oh, you know, our fighter was blinded by a curse from the div that we were fighting in the Ashen Ruins. How much does it cost to have a priest cast restoration on him or her? You know,
yeah.
There's your answer.
Yeah, I remember. really old D&D campaign. I think we're playing AD&D, trying to find what was probably been an 8th level cleric, something like that, to go and get this respiration. We were dragging around. I think it was if I remember, it was either an arm or a leg of one of our lost, adventurers, and we were so determined to get him resurrected.
Like a part of him.
Yeah.
Brian from Moria, I play in his AD&D game on Thursdays, and we have scoured the land for every scroll of resurrection that we could find. There's probably none within 200 miles in that campaign.
Yeah,
so we have a lot of deaths.
Yeah. As you get older, you realise it's just the games master being a git.
Exactly.
they could just say yes, there is one. But
Brian is so good. He's such a he makes us work for our adventure.
Yeah, he ran the one shot. Have you watched the one shot that we?
I saw.
Yeah. No, that was great fun playing for Mora. So we then get into the ancestries. What we want to do, obviously, these are the common ones. We want to look at this. We want to look at this monkey goblin. That's right.
Or the gnome. Or right. I think the gnome is back under the common ancestries. Actually, I don't think. Go up a page. Gnome, there it is.
Yeah.
Gnomes are common in ShadowFinder. Gnomes are non-existent in ShadowDark. So
yeah, and they get two abilities.
They get two, because they have two in Pathfinder, right?
Yeah.
So they can talk to small woodland animals, but it's going to be a lot like the Baldur's Gate 3 thing where you're talking to the squirrel in the Emerald Enclave camp. Squirrels are not the greatest conversationalists.
No, but that's how you should run animals. I've been in some adventures and campaigns where they run and they're having a human conversation back, and I'm like, going, they wouldn't know what a tree is or anything.
The squirrel's context, the badger's context is very much, roots, grubs, and berries. So
yeah. So here's the monkey goblin.
There's the monkey goblin.
Here it is. The tree-dwelling goblin with prehensile tail and hyperactive energy. It can carry an additional item or perform simple tasks, but it can't wield arms or armor. That's a shame. I love the fact it'd be nice to have an armor on it, and then it was dead straight because
right. Or a shield. I can see the player being like, so I can use 2 shields now, right?
Yeah. Shield just popping over down from the top. Yeah,
I have my tail shield, and I have my arm shield.
Advantage on climb checks, obviously. What else we got? We've got Skinwalker here. Was this a shape-shifting creature? Yeah, it's going to be, isn't it?
Yeah. So skinwalkers, where they have a pelt. They have an enchanted. So they're kind of like a clan or like a hereditary group. They're tribes, and they have pelts of animals. They're descended from lycanthropes, but they're not were creatures.
Right.
They're basically like the far descended offspring of were creatures. And you can see under the shape change ability, right? I have them as wolves. You could probably do something like a great cat, but a wolf is probably on par with the right power level. So,
yeah.
And of course, they can't be infected with lycanthropy.
Makes sense. Then we've got rare ancestries as well.
And these are where you get into the real deep weeds of Pathfinder, where you got the android, right? Where they're literally robots, right? They're artificial synthetic beings. Or the Goron, right? The Goron fascinate me. I haven't had a player play one yet, but I got high hopes. Because they're plants, and they can eject a seed of themselves.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So
if you want to break into somewhere, you could get the seed out. Someone could throw it through a window or whatever. And then within a few days, you're going to appear in there, and your original one's going to die.
And you'll appear in this place you're trying to break into with no equipment. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's there's a
You'll
slight
be totally
downside.
unprepared, but you'll be inside,
All you
right?
need to do is then go, no, you know, it's the ultimate Trojan horse from having this weird plant grow in a room that it was never there before. But
Right.
it's
I
like
think I
walking
think I saw
into a
that movie.
detention level with a Wookiee. You know, it's been
Right.
done once, and every time you play Star Wars, that's always the plan, isn't it?
It's always the plan, right? Just like I have a saying, which is everything ends in arson in role playing games. So if
It
things aren't
does.
lit on fire, someone's doing something wrong.
Yeah, yeah. That's why it's got flame rules in it. So then we've got some very rare ancestries, which obviously the Merfolk.
Even rare, right? Like the
So
Estomai, who are tangible darkness, telepathic tangible darkness, or the Changeling, which are the female offspring of a hag and a mortal, right?
yeah,
People do love the Changelings. The Merfolk that we mentioned, the Samsarin, who are literally reincarnated. The like Samsarins are basically like Avatar, right? Aang from Avatar, where they project their mind into their next form when they die, and so they basically they have like 100 generations of memories,
bit like a Doctor Who.
like Doctor Who. Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
exactly. They reincarnate into a Samsaran baby, and then they have to live life all over again repeatedly.
Or Deadpool's lower legs.
Just as lower legs.
Well, I don't know what lower legs are now. Now I've said it like that. I mean legs.
Shins.
Obviously, we've got then obviously languages in here, campaign rules, weather and travel. It's the worst thing. I'm terrible. Every time there's weather tables mentioned, I'm really bad at it.
So for backgrounds, we went a little bit different. Pathfinder 1 doesn't have backgrounds. I didn't just want to crib ShadowDark's background. So instead, I made tables of, their D12s. They're basically split into 4. I might make a few more kind of categories, but right now there's sorceress, martial, religious, and street, which is, basically your fighter, your thief, your cleric, and your wizard.
Yeah.
And they start with, you roll the D12. It kind of gives you whatever your background title is, your starting wealth, and a little bit of starting equipment, which the starting equipment has a little bit of variety rather than just being your default, right? Like if you look at number 1 for the sorceress backgrounds, has a healing potion, right? Starts with, a dagger, an apron, a healing potion, some rations, because you're an apothecary, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So number 6, strange marks or mutation, right? So
yeah, and a variety of wealth, which is always a good thing to see.
Yeah, I wanted to throw it in where and it's not, it's much more, the variety of wealth is not like, oh, this is balance, and more like how much money would an apothecary have if they gave up their shop and decided to become an adventurer, right?
Yeah, height tables, that's very much sort of 3.5 edition and
very
Pathfinder,
much,
isn't it? Yeah,
very much, right.
And
the height tables I just sorted out into extra small through big boned, and people can choose. I'm not gonna get so prescriptive,
Yeah, it's one of those that I don't think weight really ever comes up in a game, and eventually the games master will always go, "How much do you weigh?" And you go, "I'm not standing on that bridge."
Right?
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're going to find a way around now. Thank you.
Exactly. How much can I weigh and still stand here and not fall through to the ground below? Right?
Yeah. As a games master, as a hint, have their weights written down if you know something like that's coming up, because they just won't go anywhere.
Start of the session, for no particular reason, can you all roll me your height and weight?
Yeah.
Right. The side blade that lops off your head is exactly 68 inches from the floor. So
what I liked about
7 inches.
Yeah, some of the ShadowDark adventures where I've run a few that are, it's like flooded dungeons and stuff, and some of the better ones will say the actual depth of the water. Some of the, I think, worse written ones will say things like it comes up to waist height, and you're like, what waist?
Right,
waist
height of who?
In a half orc, a human,
halfling? Are we talking like it's ankle deep for an orc? Are we talking? Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
So it's you kind of got to think of these
I wrote
ancestries
an
when you write.
adventure where I was like, oh, the water will be 5 foot deep, and then I was running it, and the group was all dwarves, halflings, gnomes, goblins. And so, like, what should have been like, oh, this is an unpleasant wade became a nearly unsurmountable barrier. It's like everyone in this group is 4 foot or shorter. This water is the big bad end boss is this watery hallway, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'm. Were you sort of reassessing your life decisions to write that at that time? We like,
yeah,
okay,
I
this
had a
isn't
whole
going to work.
moment where it's like I had to do some fancy mental adjustments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, the floor is higher in this section,
Right, exactly.
but for no apparent reason, it's 2 foot higher.
Right, they built the ledge right through the middle, conveniently, like a catwalk.
Yeah. So right, let's have a look at some of the classes.
Yeah, I mean, there's the alchemist, right? And I think that alchemist is a great example because alchemist doesn't exist in Shadowdark, and alchemist does solidly exist in Pathfinder. And so Shadowfinder has the alchemist basically using materia, which we use as uh like base components, right? And so you'll see you can use a materia and make intelligence check to create an invention, tincture, flask, or oil. And those are specific types of alchemical creations that we have listed in the gear.
Right.
Right. So
Okay.
as an alchemist, you can literally just whip up an item, right? That you need on hand. You need a flask of alchemist fire. You can just make one, right? Using materia. If you make the check, and unlike materia, you can create more when you rest, right? And so, but they do take up item slots, so they're a little bit like spell scrolls, or a little bit like spell slots in older editions, but less like one materia is one item. It doesn't get into different categories of materia. We're not going all MMO style where you have bronze through gold level materia, you know.
Yeah.
But we really wanted to lean on that whole idea of the alchemist being able to make things, just lots of things, sun rods, you know, tinctures, oils, ghostbane oil, whatever, silver sheen, whatever they need, they can probably make it, you know.
Yeah. Keep it nice and simple as well, don't you? Because
That we
you don't want to get
really
too difficult.
wanted to keep it simple. I mean, that is the crux of it, right? Pathfinder 1, I love it, and I played so much of it, and I ran organized play games for years. But oh my gosh, like once you get to like level 7 to 9, things become hard. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this was inspired by a couple things. One, the Lone Wolf adventure books, right, that I read as a kid.
Yeah.
And two, someone brought a copy of Oriental Adventures to one of Carla Adder's AD&D Keep on the Borderlands games, and they were looking through the Oriental Adventures book, and they stopped on the page in Oriental Adventures, which is an old AD&D book, and it had all the weapons, right, and it had pictures of all these weapons, kind of like, and I think that third edition D&D had that too, right? Where they had all the weapons illustrated.
Yeah. It's
And
something that's disappeared from modern books, and it's sad
it's
because
sad,
it's
right?
nice.
Yeah. And all the players at this table were like, man, this was my favorite page in this book. And I thought, and I just listened to them say that. And it like, you know, there's a half dozen players, and they were all like, that's amazing, man. I wish this was still a thing.
Yeah.
Um,
It is sad because you get an idea of what wrist razors are or bowlers and stuff like that. Because yes, you can write a sentence for everything. Why not just go and show it in a picture?
why not
But
show it?
I know art costs money, and you know that
Yeah.
it does
And
add to
we,
the
with the
overall
art,
price. But
I tried to scale it so, you know, the great sword art is the same size as, like, I tried to scale it so the dagger's smaller than the great sword, right? So it's not
yeah,
just, You know, I tried to give at least a rough idea of context without being in like small weapons versus large weapons, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So we kept obviously within ShadowDark standard rules. You've gone to your 5 tiers of spells. I assume you've still got a lot of spells to add, or is this
This
it?
is done.
Oh, okay.
All these spells are as they are. We broke out wizards into specialists, right? So wizards have specialties. They pick a specialty.
Right.
And each specialist, so there's a group of universal spells, and then each specialist school, you see necromancy there under unholy blight,
Yeah.
or you see
So we've
vampiric
got
touch, or you
wizard
see
illusion
illusion,
here.
right?
Yeah.
So we broke out the specialist wizards, and so wizards pick a specialty, and they get that specialty's spell selection and the universal spells. But importantly, they don't get access to the other schools.
That's how it used to be.
Yeah,
That's how I liked it. I did enjoy the restriction as a games
we
master
did
of putting
merge it.
stuff
So
on there.
there's 4 specialties, right? So you have
Yeah.
conjuration, necromancy, enchantment, and illusion. We put almost all the illusion spells also are like your transportation / misty step. So illusions like illusion and movement, right?
Yeah.
And things like that. So we just have the 4 specialties as opposed to like the 8 or more that were in Pathfinder 1. But we really wanted to give it flavor. My co-creator described it as almost like Hogwarts, where the wizards schools they have flavor. Like they have a definite vibe is the word he used to describe it, right? Where like your your necromancers play differently than your enchanters, you know.
Yeah. This I think this is going to be, well, for me, very interesting for new players that have never seen things like this. They might feel an element of restriction, but go with it, because less options actually means you've got to try harder to do things
Yeah,
and to achieve things. It's trust me, it's a better experience.
I think it is
Um,
too. Right.
but then we came from a time of hardship, boohoo,
Right. Right.
50-year-old men grumbling about
Exactly.
how it was when
The
we were
bitter
kids.
wastes. We came from the cold wastes of you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, back when we
I
were
will
kids.
say, and also priests, we broke out priests in the same way where you have universal priest spells, and then you have
Lawful.
alignment based. So you have lawful, chaotic,
Yeah,
and neutral priests. And each of those alignments has their own spell list. And true to Pathfinder 1 form, you pick your font, right? So lawful priests have cure and turn undead,
yeah,
and chaotic priests have control undead and cause wounds. And your neutral priest on character creation, you choose which one you want to have. Which that came about my player Erie, who was super into Pathfinder 1. They said how are you going to handle that? And I thought to myself, and that was their suggestion. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like the best suggestion ever, because what that was, I was like, that is the definitive way to make a priest class and
yeah,
and follow that Pathfinder 1 experience, right?
yeah, yeah. No. I'm really glad to hear that. That's a really good thing. So is this a new? Oh, so it's like the Taraka cards from, well, that moved into Curse of Strahd, because they had the
Right.
Taraka.
So the Tarot cards are actually pulled from a 5th edition adventure I wrote called The Dream Prison. So this is pretty much something that I repurposed. But it's also not just a Taraka cards from Curse of Strahd, but also the Harrow cards from Pathfinder 1, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I wanted to give a distinct fortune telling / option. But I'm not just going to use Harrow cards, right? That's their own thing. So I needed something that I could use as a substitute, or my own flavor of it, I guess, is
Yeah.
more apt, right?
Are the cards going to be available? Are you going to do some cards alongside the Kickstarter?
Not alongside the Kickstarter. That would be that'd be way down the road, right? But
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Feats and downtime is the last section, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
the feats are not done yet. There's probably still more to go through and true up and clean up and put in. Like you can see, I have room. I have room for a
You do
lot
have
more.
room. You do have room.
Right.
So
And
let's just
yeah,
have.
so the feats are broken out into kind of like groups, combat or styles. Styles are interesting because in Pathfinder 1, they're a combination of martial and monk fighting styles.
Yeah.
And then there's the spell. So you have the Barb Devil style, which is literally, or the chain style, crane style, big game hunter. But then also you have things like benthic spells, right? With the arcane magical feat, where when you cast an elemental spell, you can substitute water.
Oh yeah, I remember that being a thing because obviously
Right?
it made because of immunities and vulnerabilities,
Exactly.
wasn't it?
Huge parts of it. So if you're fighting a fire elemental, you can throw a fireball, but instead use a water substitution, right?
Yeah. And you said that we actually I think I missed it. Yeah, we probably should just cover how you gain the feats because you said
Right there, right? Yeah.
downtime.
So your characters attempt to learn a feat during downtime, right? So instead of carousing, you would use downtime. It starts at a DC 18, and the stat is defined by the feat you're trying to learn. Some feats are rare or uncommon. Uncommon or rare feats are harder to find a teacher for. They cost more to learn, right? So you can see that we have under training costs, we have some suggestions. Starting 10 or 20 gold and going up to 50 or 100 a session. So it's still a little bit of that whole gold sink that you find with carousing. But in this case, it's more character advancement driven. And the trade-off is you're not getting the carousing XP, right? So you're giving up guaranteed XP for an opportunity to choose your character's development path more, right?
Yeah. And so difficulty 18, and if you fail it, it's going to be reduced by 3 every time.
Right.
I think I think I already know what my group will do because carousing is a shared pot of money. I think what you'll find is one session they'll carouse, the next session every player will train for a feat. Then they'll go out. I think you'll probably see them because if one person wants to train, that's going to take it makes the carousing more expensive, doesn't it?
It does. If you look at the top paragraph on that page, if you engage in any other downtime activity, your DC check resets to 18.
Yeah. Okay.
So once you start learning, you really have to stick with it, right?
Yeah.
Or sacrifice your progress.
Okay. So that was 130 pages that we're showing. So you reckon it's going to be 160, 180, something like that. So what?
Yeah, it's going to be probably close to 160. We have more feats. I have the Bard. I wrote up the Bard. It's not in that version. So the Bard is going in there. We have a Skald, which is like a barbarian, berserker Bard, but we have the Bard, which is much more diplomat, negotiator, fascinator, issues commands kind of thing. Not so much musician, more performer and diplomat. So yeah, it's probably, I think the version that I have is roughly 150 pages so far. Yeah. So it'll be in between 160 and 180, I'm pretty sure.
Perfect. It's just going to be like most of your projects. It's going to be pretty much done by the time this Kickstarter project is ended, so it can go to the backers quite quickly. At least the PDFs tend to come out quite quickly.
Absolutely. I anticipate that we will have the PDF pretty shortly after. Yeah, like most of my Kickstarters, right? Yeah. We'll have the PDF shortly after we wrap up the crowdfunding. I'll send the PDF out. I'll have a channel on Arcane Libraries Discord for play testing and comments, and I really want people to play test it and play with it, and kind of help shape it with feedback and comments. And have you thought about this, or have you thought about that? Because that kind of comment was really useful for ShadowFinder Bestiary, where people were like, "Hey, can we get NPC stat blocks?" And I was like, yes, not 300 of them, but I can definitely put in some.
Yeah.
And I want the community, the audience, my fans, or I don't know if fans is the right word, but backers. I
Groupies.
very appreciate their feedback. What's that?
Groupies. That's what you
Group,
really.
I appreciate their feedback though. Like they make my work better, and I owe a great thank you to everyone who backs and leaves comments and is like, I love this and can we get more of this? Or, I very much appreciate everyone who backs my projects.
No, and you do great projects. I've got so many of yours to even review and get out to go. But people keep sending me, and you keep writing more stuff, so it doesn't help my cause to go backwards.
I'm doing it simply to keep you making videos, Adrian. That's my life goal.
It's a good goal to have. Will, it's been brilliant having you on again and chatting with you. Good luck with the project. I will put a link to the Kickstarter project down in the video description so you can just jump straight in there and go and back it. I look forward to seeing this once it's out because, off-print books really. I hate the title because they make them sound like they're not aligned, and I've recently learned that that's actually the best form of printing because every day's a school day. So for everyone that's watched this, thank you for watching. Please obviously like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Go and back Will's projects, and I'll put a link to his drive-through RPG page because you've got like a million other things on there as well. So
got a few,
great.
Yeah,
great ShadowDark adventures, several of which I've already covered. So thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Thank you,
Adrian.